If you're an overweight dude, you've probably been told just to go to the gym to lose the weight. But what if I told you you can actually have a really solid transformation? You can lose fat and put on muscle mass with a home gym. So I lost 130 pounds and bought a home gym when COVID first hit. And I'm just talking like the basics. So I bought a rack, which had a high and low pulley system. I had a barbell with actual plates. And then I had adjustable dumbbells and adjustable bench, which I got a bit later. But a rack and the weights are like the basics. And then also I had a cardio machine and air bike. And this setup helped me lose 130 pounds. And it wasn't like anything super crazy or super fancy, but it was the basics, right? And the basics is what you need to actually get the results that you want. And the crazy part is like everything that I listed about the equipment I have, you don't even need half of that. All you really need are adjustable dumbbells and an adjustable bench, and you can have a really solid transformation by just having those two pieces of equipment. And now for your cardio, you also don't need a machine like myself. I do live in Canada where it is really cold and it is really kind of, it sucks to go out for a walk or jog or whatever. Sometimes I like to think of myself as David Goggins 2.0 and go for, a 5-10K jog when it's like -20 and there's like 2 feet of snow, which I've done. But to make my cardio really consistent and repeatable, just having an exercise or a cardio piece at home makes doing daily cardio really easy. But the big thing, what I'm trying to say here is what actually made my transformation really easy is that I could be consistent over time because I had the basics and I had everything that I needed to generate enough muscle stimulation. The truth is you don't need all these fancy pieces of equipment to actually get a good transformation. Like if you go to a gym, you're like, okay, I want to work out my triceps. The gym probably has like 3 or 5 different machines to actually, stimulate growth inside your triceps. And you probably don't know which one to choose. But the thing is, you just need the basics. And the basics are adjustable dumbbells and adjustable bench. And with that being said, you just need to be able to generate enough resistance, generate load over time, and actually push yourself week to week. And that's how you get the results that you want. And the truth is a lot of home workouts fail because there's no progression week to week. And my routine was really simple. I would have a daily cardio target each week. And then also I would have my gym workout routine. So anywhere from 4 to 5 days a week. A really easy way to build your own routine is making sure all muscle groups are being hit twice per week. So the easy way to do this is like an upper lower split. My own workout routine right now and previously is like a modified version of this where it is 5 days a week. I'm hitting all muscle groups twice per week and it is supported by compound movements followed by accessory work. So the way you can break this down is starting each day with a compound movement. Think like squat, bench, deadlift, and then after this movement, you're going to be doing your accessory movements. And the whole idea here is when you're doing these compound movements, you're pushing for like a new PR. You're pushing your strength gains, that sort of thing. And then after in your accessory movements, it's when you give your central nervous system a bit of a break and you're focusing on actually generating more muscle stimulation inside those muscle groups that you're working. But my routine consisted of squatting twice per week, deadlifting twice per week, and benching anywhere from 3 to 4 times a week, kind of like a power building type program because I would have these compound movements lined up and then I would do my accessory work kind of like what I just told you guys a second ago. Now you have to understand if you're working out in a home gym, you have to be able to find ways to make sure you're progressing day to day, week to week by increasing muscle stimulation, making the exercises actually harder. And you don't really need heavier dumbbells to do this. You just have to have the right approach. And the easiest way to do this right now is one is to actually slow down the tempo. If you only have weights up to a certain degree, maybe you only have 50-pound dumbbells and say you're doing legs, for example. Say you control the weight really easily during your actual reps, you would want to slow it down, right? Maybe do a 5-second negative. That's going to be a lot harder in your actual movement than just pumping through all the reps really quickly. The second way you can make things harder is by adding a pause at the end of every movement. So I know I just talked about lunges and leg work. Let's just say you're doing overhead tricep work. An easy way that you can do that is adding a pause at the end of the movement when your tricep joint is loaded. Again, these are just examples for certain muscle groups, but adding pauses and tempos are huge, especially when you're limited in your weight selection. The other things you can do are like supersets and doing shorter rest times. So maybe your first set was like super easy. Then you would take a shorter rest and go back into that next set really quickly because your muscle has less of a chance to recover. And it's almost as like a drop set in a sense, but you're just giving your body a little bit of a break and you're trying to push past like new bounds. The other thing that I really like to do at home is actually adding supersets with your body weight. So for example, if you're doing dips, maybe you have some sort of dip attachment for your rack or whatever like I do, I would do dips and then I would superset it directly into wide grip push-ups. And I would do like a burnout of like 5 to 8 reps. That would be like all I could get. And then at the end of it, I'm really taxing my chest. I'm completely burnt out. And this is exactly the type of thing that you have to do if you're working out home to get the results you need. And that's just one example with the dip attachment, but say you don't have a dip attachment, the easy way to do this is doing chest flies, right? With dumbbells, you would do your chest flies. If you have a really light dumbbell selection, you'd be doing a tempo, you'd be doing a pause. Then at the end of these chest flies, you would superset it with wide grip body weight push-ups. And then in total, you have a really solid, exercise selection, you could say, that's going to generate muscle stimulation that you can progress week to weekend. And basically what I'm trying to say here is the real secret of how you're going to progress at home. The biggest thing you have to understand is each week you have to make your exercise selection harder in some way, shape, or form. And you have to think more reps, better control, longer pauses, shorter rest, or better range of motion. And that is progress on all fronts. And that's why working out at home actually works if you do those things. You can't just go in doing like a booty band, 3-day workout routine that, all the Pilates moms do. I don't know where I'm going with this, but you guys get what I'm saying. And that's why today I still use these movements that I used 2 to 3 years ago, just starting my weight loss journey. You got to be big on the basics, and then you got to be able to excel in the basics to get the results that you want. And the truth is about fat loss is anybody can tell you just to eat less and you're going to lose weight. Like, duh, no kidding. But to actually change yourself and lose fat and gain muscle mass in the process, you have to be able to put yourself in a position to push yourself and generate muscle stimulation so your muscles can grow, and then you will see those visual differences that you're after. And the thing is, if you're not training properly, if your protein intake is not high, if you're not sleeping, you'll never see the fruit of your hard work, and you'll never really see that result or that transformation that you're after. And this setup is perfect for people who want a transformation done at home. You don't have to go to a fancy gym that's like 20 to 30 minutes away from your home, drive home another 20, 30 minutes, be seen by all these different people that you barely know, have that anxiety surrounded inside the gym. It's uncomfortable, it's hot, it's sweaty. Sometimes you have to wait for equipment. It's really nice just to do what you have to do at home, get it done out of the way, and you don't have to worry about it. And the thing is, yes, it may not be optimal or like the exact perfect conditions, right? Because you don't have every single piece of equipment. But the truth is, you don't need that to get good results. You just need something that you can do repeatedly over time and get good at. Now, if you want to lose weight the correct way and actually lose fat and put on muscle, there's a link down below where you can book a call. I will go over where you're going wrong and talk about your goals, where you want to be, and then an actual game plan of what it will take to reach those goals. And if I think we're a good fit, I'll offer you the chance to work together.